All right, a new Market Watch report was just released on Social Security and the roughly 2.5 to 2.7 trillion dollars that Social Security had available in fiscal year 2025. Well, shockingly enough, that report came out and showed that Social Security got a 4.3% return on the roughly 2.5 to 2.7 trillion dollars again, that Social Security had available, again, fiscal year 2025. Now, you might be thinking at first look here, like, don't really care, don't really know why this matters, but it actually matters in a huge way because this actually pertains to you, your money, your benefits, and the longevity of Social Security. And what I want to talk about really quickly here in this video, because let's just take a little quick side note here and let's explore really fast what happened in 2025 as far as prices, inflation, and things like that. Let's just think about this for just a second here, because this actually does make a pretty big difference when it relates to, again, your money, the longevity of Social Security, this 4.3% reported, and what all of it means for the 2.5, nearly $3 trillion that Social Security is sitting on within the trust fund, okay? Now, let me ask you really quickly. Now, obviously, as we roll into 2026, we're all looking at a whopping 2.8% COLA. Yeah, that's huge, right? No. Here's the deal. I've been saying this for a while now. Generally, real inflation is usually about double what the COLA actually is. For example, 2026, 2.8% is the COLA. Real inflation, probably about 5.6%. I think we can all probably agree with that. Real price increases, probably around 5.5%. Again, give or take a little bit. In 2025, we got a 2.5% COLA. I think we can all probably agree in 2025, there was probably more like a 5%, something like that, or around that range of an actual price increase, right? The previous year, we got 3.2%. Inflation, probably around 6.4%. And again, you get it. Remember back a couple years ago as well, we had an 8.7% COLA back in 2023. That was amazing. But I also think we can all probably recognize real inflation was probably around 17.4%, which would be double of the 8.7% COLA. Now, my point behind that is this. With this 4.3% return on the $2.5 trillion that Social Security simply has, that's decent, but it's actually not good enough. Reason is that money lost a significant amount of money. Even though that 2.5 to 2.7 trillion dollars that is being reported here, again, that Social Security had within their trust fund essentially for fiscal year 2025, reporting about $67 billion that brought in with that 4.3% return. Again, when you look at it, it's like, oh, that's actually pretty good. It looks pretty decent. It's actually really bad because here's why. That money actually lost money. It depleted because of high inflation, and the purchasing power of that money actually depleted pretty aggressively in 2025. Now, the big deal about that and why we care about that is because, well, problem being is that this money needs to last for a lot longer to send out to the beneficiaries into the future. Problem is that as this money continues to deplete and as it loses its purchasing power, that's the money of the beneficiaries that they actually need, and that Social Security needs also to send out to the beneficiaries. If that money continues to deplete at the rate that it is, well, you can kind of see where this is going, right? Well, in this Market Watch report here that I'm referring to in this live stream right now, they actually found that if they would have actually just invested this money a little bit more properly, they could have easily brought back a 14.4% return on this money, more than a 10% additional return on the money, which would have been an extra, well, what is that? $250 to $270 billion of additional return on that money. That'd be incredible, right? Remember this much as well. Right now, Social Security pays out about $120 billion a month. A month they pay out per all the beneficiaries. The 75 million beneficiaries, they collectively send out, again, roughly $120 billion a month. That's crazy. About $1.5 to $1.6 trillion a year is how much they're sending out. That's nuts, right? So anyway, here's the big deal, okay? So now that you have that information, and what do we need to know about this, and why is this such a big deal? Here's the deal. Social Security has three primary sources of income. Number one is payroll taxes. That's the biggest, by far, the biggest source of income for Social Security. It brings in about $1.3 trillion a year of money into the trust fund. That's good. That's by far the biggest source that they have. And that's where essentially the money comes from to pay the beneficiaries. That's good. Again, about 1.3 trillion. They have another source of income, which is taxation on Social Security benefits. This is a much smaller number. It's about $55 billion as of the most recent Social Security Board of Trustees report. They reported that they brought in $55 billion of revenue from taxation on Social Security benefits, which is honestly $55 billion that was taken from seniors that really never should have been in the first place. Okay, anyway, that's taxation on Social Security. And again, I've been pounding the table on this as well because it's everywhere in the headlines right now. No taxes on Social Security. And I keep coming back and saying, yeah, there is. They definitely did not remove taxation on Social Security. So when you see these headlines out there that say no more taxes on Social Security, you can say that's false, because it is false. It's not true at all. Again, I've dug into that deep in other videos, and I know that a number of you in the community don't really care about that. But again, just want to make that very, very clear. There's still very much taxation on Social Security. That has not been eliminated, as many people continue to say that it hasn't. Anyway, that was $55 billion of income that was brought into Social Security just through taxation of benefits in the last fiscal year. And then $67 billion was brought in through interest on the money in the trust fund. Again, $2.5 to $2.7 trillion money in the trust fund invested into long-term bonds with the federal government, and then basically they got a 4.3% return. Okay, now remember this. In 2025, how much could you get as far as money as an interest on money in a savings account in 2025? I'll tell you. It was about, well, early on in the year, it was about 4.25%. It was about what it was. It's about 3.5% now. Across the board on pretty much any bank out there, obviously some more than others, but you can get about a 3.5% interest rate on just money sitting in a savings account right now, right? But anyway, point being is that we know that inflation is running significantly higher than this. So even though it seems like, oh, this is nice, they got 4.3%, they got a $67 billion interest payment from the money sitting in the trust fund. That's actually not very good, okay? It's not very good at all, because the trust fund is literally losing money every single year because of high inflation and literally the depletion of those dollars sitting there in the trust fund. It's not good for the beneficiary, okay? And I know this may not be a popular thing to say. In fact, I'm going to be fair with you. Transparently speaking, anytime that I make a video that says like, hey, an update on the trust fund and, it's depleting, people hate those videos. I'm going to be fair with you. The comments that I get, the feedback that I get, the back-end analytics on YouTube, people do not like those videos, okay? Notice why I don't really make those videos, because people hate them. That's why I don't really make those videos. But anyway, so it may not be a popular thing to say, but it's actually not good for the beneficiary to see this happening, because the money is not very well invested, and therefore it's ultimately going to cost the beneficiary. This whole insolvency thing that we are experiencing right now in like 6.5 years, this could be completely avoided if all of this money, again, about $2.5 to $2.7 trillion in the trust fund, if that was just invested properly, it could easily return enough money every year to bring the trust fund out of insolvency and realistically generate a ton of extra money that would cover multiple months worth of benefits that they could send out just from the money if properly invested, okay? Now, here's what I want to say about this. In this Market Watch report, again, that I'm referring to here in this video, they suggested that if the money was properly invested, they could have easily brought in about a 14.4% return on this money. That's incredible. A 14.4% return on, say, $2.5 trillion is about, what is that? 280. What's half of 280? Oh, what's half of 47? I'm trying to figure it out as I talk. 350. It's 350. I'm doing the math as I talk right now. It's $350 billion of interest they could have collected on that money if properly invested. $300 billion. That's nuts, right? That's a lot of money that they could have brought in just from a 14.4% return on $2.5 trillion. Okay. Now, the point with this is that we've heard out there many proposals on reforming Social Security, tons of them. One of the most popular proposals that's out there is, let's raise the full retirement age. And that is not popular whatsoever. People do not like that whatsoever, right? It's not a popular thing to say. No wonder why no politician comes out and campaigns on, we're going to reform Social Security and we're going to raise the full retirement age. Nobody says that. Not a single person when they're campaigning for any political office says that, because it's not smart, because they know that people don't like that, right? But anyway, that is by far one of the most popular amendments and adjustments to Social Security that is out there currently, okay? Whether we like it or not, they're likely going to raise the full retirement age, okay? But point being is that there's also talk to peel off $1.5 trillion of Social Security money and invest it into the public markets to get a better return on this money. We know this much as well. And again, I'd never make political videos, but rather sometimes, because of the nature of the beast of what I talk about, sometimes it gets a little bit political. But I want you to know, regardless of what you agree with or disagree, I just want you to know I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to represent you. I'm here to advocate for you. I honestly couldn't care less about political beliefs. I'm just here to support you, okay? It doesn't matter. I'm not here to take political sides. That's not the objective of this channel. It's not the objective of this live stream or this video ever, but rather I'm here to represent and advocate for you. Politics aside, does not matter to me. People in this community is what matters to me. Anyway, but we know this much. This administration is very, very much focused on the open markets. I mean, the president talks about the market is up, the stock market is booming, inflation is down, prices is down, affordability is back. And we're all like, where? Please tell us where. Yeah, the market's up. We get that. Affordability, excuse me, what does that word even mean anymore? As far as inflation being down, like, where are you looking? That's not accurate, right? We all know this. But point being is that we know that this administration is very much into the markets, right? We know that. Point being is that wouldn't be shocked if we see some type of additional legislation, which over the last couple of years here, to be fair, we've seen legislation coming out suggesting that $1.5 trillion fund that'd be invested into the open markets. And again, the returns on that money would be basically Social Security's money, okay? And the whole point of this is to generate additional returns for Social Security and potentially avoid the insolvency situation in about 6.5 years. Now, here's the thing is that I want to say as well. And again, maybe this isn't a funny thing to say, maybe it's not a popular thing to say, maybe it's not a cool thing to say, but whatever. I'm not here to say cool or funny or popular things. I'm here to give you the facts as far as what's happening. Remember this, everybody is scared and worried about Social Security reform, right? Reform. Everybody's worried about reform. I just want to say this much. Without Social Security reform, we are basically guaranteeing a between 19 and 24% cut to benefits if we do not reform this program whatsoever. We're guaranteed a cut. Not like, oh, they're going to do it. Oh, I hope they don't do it. No, we are guaranteed, 100% guaranteed, a cut to benefits, again, roughly about 20 and 24% as of the current numbers right now, if they do nothing to Social Security. So everybody's worried about the reform to Social Security. And I say this all the time. Don't fear the reform. Fear the lack of action. Fear the lawmakers doing nothing. That's literally what we need to fear. Is because if lawmakers do absolutely nothing, we get that guaranteed cut. Guaranteed cut. Not like oh, maybe they will, maybe they'll be nice and maybe they won't cut. No, guaranteed. That's nasty, okay? But if they reform it somehow, some way, and again, it seems that nobody has the real solution as far as what the plan is going to be here. They all just keep coming out with all these different plans like, oh, we're going to raise the full retirement age. And it's like, first off, if you're going to do that, you should have done it like 30 years ago. Because problem being is that if they do it now, it's going to have no consequence on the trust fund. It's too late. They waited too long, okay? And then we hear these proposals out there. Tax the rich. Okay, tax the rich. You're only going after about 5 out of every 100 working people, okay? It's a very, very small percentage of the population. Go after the rich people. You'll get a little bit more money. It's not going to fix the problem. If they wanted to do this, they should have started taxing the rich like 30 years ago when all that money could have compounded and actually stacked up over time. Problem is, there's not enough time. That's the problem, is we don't have time on our side anymore. We're running out of time when it comes down to finding a solution to make sure that this program remains solvent for many more years into the future, okay? Does all this kind of make sense? So point being with all this is that a lot of roads, as in the time factor and all these other proposals that are really running out of time and they don't have the time to actually build up the money that they need, is that a lot of these roads are leading back to this proposal that they've continuously come back with, a number of times here over the last several years, which is taking the money from Social Security, investing it into the free markets, and then letting it do its thing there. Now, I know that this is not a popular concept. And again, legally, they cannot do that. They legally cannot invest Social Security money into the public and the open markets. They can't do it. It has to be invested into bonds, right? Long-term bonds that pay us a little tiny yield. Oh, okay, that's awesome, right? Well, again, unfortunately, because of that, and according to this report here, the 4.3% return, well, unfortunately, it's losing money. And whose money are they losing? They're not losing lawmakers' money. They're not losing, you know what I mean? They're not losing the government's money. They're losing your money. It's your money. They're literally doing a disservice to the beneficiary. That's why I want to talk about this, and that's why I want to make such a big deal about this, is because do they really care at the end of the day? It's not their money. If somebody's dealing with somebody else's money, do they ever really care? Until they put some skin in the game, does anybody really care about somebody else's money? Not a whole lot, right? I mean, maybe some people do. But in general, the vast majority of people out there don't really care about other people's money unless they get some of their own skin in the game. And then they're like, oh, now I care a little bit. Now I want this to succeed. Now I want it to do well. Well, unfortunately, that's what's going on here, is that they're literally playing with the money of the beneficiary. And it's the beneficiary who ultimately is the one that gets hurt at the end of the day if they do not do something about this. Now, again, I just want to clarify really quickly, there's nothing to worry about right now, but considering that they have to do something on this within Social Security to reform the program and do something to this program within the next couple years. Otherwise, they're literally out of time. They're out of time. Their back is against their brick wall and they've got nowhere to go. They're cornered. That's it. They're out of time. It's not a good position to be in. They should have done this years and years and years ago. But just like a typical lawmaker, let's go on vacation, guys. Let's do a whole lot of nothing. We'll come back to this another day. Let's go on vacation for a month. And maybe we'll come back and finish our work here, after our break. Oh, then we're going to go on vacation again, right? So typical stuff here, but unfortunately, it's not good for the beneficiary. Anyway, I like to keep you informed with these types of reports because at the end of the day, does your local news come out and talk about this kind of stuff? Does Social Security openly come out and talk about this? Now, obviously, sometimes they do come out and talk about, these news releases and different reports that they do release. That's fine. But at the end of the day, we also need to understand what the ramifications of this are because it's actually pretty important. It's all of our money at the end of the day that is going to be impacted by this and the monthly benefits. Now, again, I said this a couple minutes ago. I'm going to say it again. You do not need to worry about anything right now. Nothing to worry about now. But that 6.5 year period of time is going to be here before we know it. And again, that's just what we're projecting right now. As we continue to move forward in the future, and again, remember, 11,000 people a day are becoming eligible for Social Security. A day, 11,000 people. That's about 330,000 people a month. And it's about, 4 million people a year, roughly, give or take a little bit, up 4 million people a year. Meanwhile, the workforce is shrinking. So that's not a very good equation, right? More people drawing on benefits, less people paying in through Social Security payroll taxes. That's not a good recipe, right? Anyway, just want to keep you informed with what's going on here. And keep you posted with what's happening. Now, if you're just jumping on right here, right now, I guess I could do a quick little recap. I'll just do a really fast, really quick recap. And then what I would suggest is just scroll the video back, watch the first 10 minutes or whatever. That's all you need to watch, honestly. But anyway, here's the deal. A new Market Watch report was just released, and they found that Social Security brought in a 4.3% return on the roughly $2.5 to $2.7 trillion in the trust fund. What that means is that of the $2.5 to $2.7 trillion, they got a 4.3% yield on that money, which generated about $67 billion of revenue for Social Security because of that money. It's a lot of money to be sitting there, only getting a 4.3% return. Problem with that is that we know inflation is significantly higher than 4.3%. Therefore, the money in the trust fund literally lost money because of the depletion of purchasing power and inflation. Because of that, the money is depleting. It's worth less and less. So therefore, why this is such a big deal is because, well, they have many different plans to reform Social Security. We know that one of the plans is to invest essentially $1.5 trillion into the public open markets, as in the stock market, things like that, right? And again, I know this may not be a popular thing, but considering these lackluster returns, the depletion of the purchasing power, the depletion of the trust fund, and no solid plan in place at any point right now is simply telling me that, well, you know the saying, right? If I can remember the saying correctly, it's something like, in desperate times, you need to take desperate measures. It's something like that. I wouldn't recommend that. I would not recommend that whatsoever. But there's a saying that's something like that. Maybe I said it correctly. Maybe I didn't. But my point being is that considering that we're getting into very close to a desperate time for Social Security to figure out their finances, otherwise beneficiaries get a massive cut to benefit, they might do something very weird, and they may do something desperate, which is not a good plan, right? Long-term planning, guys. What happened to that, right? Anyway, just want to keep you updated with these reports that are coming out right now. I hope this helps you to some degree. I'm here for you again in any way that I can. Again, as I come across this information, I'm either going to bring it to you in a video, in a dedicated live stream, whatever it happens to be. I want you to stay informed with what's going on. Even if it's something that may not be effective at the moment, we want to know these details because this is also going to help them determine what type of intervention do they need to bring in to avoid a potential insolvency situation. Does that kind of make sense, right? Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. Thank you so much for watching this. Really appreciate you. Again, if you've not done so, please consider subscribing. Please share the video if you have not done so, or just check out the other 6,000 videos here on the channel. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. And again, quick side note, this is by far the #1 Social Security channel across YouTube. Okay, this channel alone has way more Social Security videos than any other channel across YouTube. Check out the videos. 6,000 plus videos here on the channel, most of which are dedicated to Social Security. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. I'm researching this stuff every single day. I'm coming across all kinds of random information every single day, a lot of which pertaining to us, our money, our benefits. And again, I'm going to help you in any way that I possibly can. Maximize your benefit, take advantage of programs, keep as much money as you possibly can. Anything else that's coming up, I'll keep you posted. Anyway, please enjoy your day. Thanks, Sandra, for being here. Happy New Year. Otherwise, enjoy, and I'll probably catch you again a little bit later. More weird things going on. And get ready. 2026 is going to be absolutely nuts with all the different things that are going to be happening. It's going to be a very, very wild year. If you thought 2025 was busy, get ready. 2026 is going to be way more weird than 2025. Okay? Anyway, please have a nice afternoon. Thanks again for watching this. Please subscribe, share the video, and I'll catch you again a little bit later. All right, anyway, I'm going to plug this. Oh, yeah, I always forget to say. You might want to click off now. My phone is going to start talking. Kind of annoying. All right, anyway, let's see if I can get this. Okay. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Cancel. Yes. All right, see you.